Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Friday, January 20th. Thank you for tuning into Kiwanis Connects. I am Aaron Phillips, holding down the fort out of a very chilly Las Vegas this morning. Barely, not even 50 degrees when I came into the studio. And it's windy, ladies and germs. That's correct. I said germs because I'm an old hack MC host. With that, listen, we had the pleasure of having Val actually in studio last week on Friday the 13th of all dates. She was here, and she was here for a very special reason, which we'll get into in a little bit. But she is safe and sound on the ground somewhere, as we like to say in wrestling, parts unknown. Governor Val, how are you this morning?
Aloha, Aaron. I am doing awesome. I took the red eye into Rancho Cucamonga. Say that 15 times fast.
No, I don't want to, not even without boozing. It's good that you're safe and sound.
Thank you. Yeah, I get to visit the district office today and hang out with the staff. So I'm really, really excited. And, you know, what better way to start the day than hanging out with our special guests and everybody who's in the audience today, because we spent a good amount of time together this week.
Well, I want to give you the honor because it's rarely that we actually have KI people, Kiwanis International, live in studio. Well, I have one. Jay slept in. He's just threw a dress shirt on. He's got pajama bottoms on, I think. And so we're going to pick the brains of these specialists and experts. So Val, why don't you have the pleasure of introducing our guests?
Absolutely. The very first one is Jay, because he is in the pajama bottoms. Jay and I have had the opportunity to travel around the country and actually have a good time opening clubs and bringing new members into the fold. His background is very similar to mine. He has a military background, and he's recruiting amazing people to do really amazing, wow kind of stuff. So this is Jay Hubbard. And Jay, you want to share a little bit about yourself? It's like, hi, Jay.
Everybody. Good morning.
Happy morning. And then my newest bud and traveling companion is Jean, who you've got there in studio. And you have her bio. This is my first opportunity getting to work with Jean. And I know that we are going to set the world on fire as far as club opening, and our friendship's going to last well beyond Kiwanis. It's true Ohana. And look, we even dressed alike.
Yeah, I was going to say, you both somehow got the invisible memo while you're about 400 miles apart. So that is good. And I'm going to have Jeannie actually. Jean or Jeannie?
Jean.
Jean. All night I'm thinking Jeannie, like I dream of Jeannie. That's got to be the way it's pronounced. No, the E is silent. So Jean. Otherwise, I may start calling you Barbara by accident if I think it's my dream of Jeannie.
As long as you don't call me Wilma.
She's catching on real quick to the show, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, I'd be remiss if I don't at least acknowledge Kathy Tran, who's in the chat room from Tempe. Good morning, Kathy. Also in studio, our current lieutenant. We have two lieutenant governors, one current, one past from Division 28. Maritza Chevelle, she's our current sitting lieutenant governor here in Division 28. And the immediate past lieutenant governor. Past?
Yeah, because there's one in between.
There was one between. Who did I? Oh, that's right. Right. Sorry. Pass. I see. This is what I forget. I forget what I had for breakfast an hour ago. Christina von Lindenberg, also past lieutenant governor of Division 28, is here. And actually, she and I started the show. This was her idea to do something like this, and now we're happy that we're able to continue it. So they're here in the studio with us. Good morning, Leanne from Shasta Lake. Jennifer McCord from Hawaii is out there. Our good friend Jennifer's checking in. Appreciate all of that. All right. So you guys came in from Indianapolis, which, of course, we probably have better weather here than you guys are probably experiencing in Indiana anyway. Is that a fair statement?
Oh, yeah.
It was warmer here than
Indiana.
What's that?
I love the weather in Indiana.
You love the weather there?
Yeah.
Is it like a typical winter? Do you get a lot of snow? Do you get some?
Not much.
No? I thought did you guys get crushed at all with this big winter storm?
We did now. We did.
You did? Yeah.
But
How much snow did you get?
I don't know. I was in Florida.
Don't give a damn about the snow.
I don't know if you can see this or not.
That's you see, Jay. Well, you're experiencing some cold today. So how long are you in town? You going back today?
We go back tonight? Yes.
Okay, to Indy?
Yes.
And then where's your next stop?
My next stop will be Arizona.
Arizona. So you're coming back?
Yeah.
When are you coming back?
February.
All right. Maybe we'll have to hook you up with what part of Arizona are you going to?
Coolidge.
I have no idea. Kathy, is that near you somewhere? Because if you're near Kathy, who's in our chat room from Tempe, maybe we make a thing there and you can get back on the show with us from there. Jay, what is your plans? Are you heading back today also?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I like the night, and then week after next, I'm up in Chicago.
Oh, going to more warm weather up there, eh?
Oh yeah, call me Chicago.
How many miles a year do you? How many miles? Now you've been with Kiwanis not as long as Jay has. You've been
Yeah.
for a while,
Mhm.
but so far, I mean, I got to imagine. Was this your first trip this year?
Oh, no.
So how many miles have you put on in, let's say, the last 3 months?
Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Last month, Montana, Idaho, southwestern Canada.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. So
And a
80% of
passport.
our time is spent travel.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your families obviously are willing to accept that you travel a lot for what you do.
Yes.
Well, that's good. You have kids at home?
No.
See, that makes it easy.
Yeah.
My marriage counseling, because if I'm home too long, my wife starts asking, "When do you go on travel again?" They get on her nerves. I'm kidding.
When I used to travel, I would take my wife's iPad and I'd bring up a picture of myself and I would put it on my pillow at home so she at least remembers the face. All right. So let's talk. I want to spend, Leanne. Leanne. Jeez, I got all these names. Jean. Leanne is in the chat room. Talk a little bit about yours. What were you doing before you came to Kiwanis?
Well, actually, just prior, I was in financial services,
Okay.
but primarily prior to that, I was in a luxury resort,
Okay.
sales,
Luxury
event management,
Okay.
as well as doing some consulting.
Gotcha. So what was the attraction for you to join Kiwanis, to become part of the KI family?
The kids.
The kids?
Yeah.
It's common with a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, how can you not want to do something that
Right.
the kids will benefit from?
Absolutely. Jay, how about you, sir? And then I'll throw it back to Val.
The reason I came to Kiwanis is kind of a little bit of a different story, but I was in the grind, so to speak, in my previous job. That you get to my age, when you're in your mid 50s, late 50s, whatever, and you wonder there's got to be something better. And I wanted to do something that was fun, that was rewarding, and kind of fed me. Fed my soul kind of thing. And I knew, the more that I learned about Kiwanis, that this was it. So this is home.
Right on. Did you have a thought?
And Kiwanis is not, even though we're an international headquarters, Kiwanis is a family here in Indianapolis. So it's really, being new to Indiana, it's really wonderful to be part of a family.
Absolutely. That's why we call it the K family, right?
Yeah.
Governor Val, take it away.
Well, I was just thinking you guys brought on a special feeling for me because last night we made some new ohana, and that's Hawaiian for family. We met a little boy yesterday. His name is Justin. I'm giving a shout out to Justin's Hearts and Heroes in downtown. And the very first real question that he asked, because he's 7, so it takes a while to really process all that, was, I want my foundation to join this club, but can we guarantee?
Hang on, Val. Val, hang on. We got some buzz coming in over your audio now. I don't even know if she can hear me. Val, take a break. Val, we can't hear you. Time out, Val. Time out. Can someone just text her and let her know that we're having some of the audio issues? Meantime, we'll let her know. Just hang tight there. Good morning, Delia from Hemet, California, checking in. We appreciate it. So what I'm hearing between the two of you, as is common with a lot of folks when we ask them about why Kiwanis, we have children, worthwhile work. You want to give back, Jay. So that seems to be the common thread between all of us who join, is doing something worthwhile, and the kids is the biggest draw. Do you hear that a lot?
Yes.
Is that the biggest selling point when you talk to other people about joining Kiwanis?
It is. It truly is.
And how do you find people's responses to that? Who maybe if they've never heard of KI, and all of a sudden you start talking about helping children, what's their reaction?
They really light up.
Do they?
Yeah, they do.
And what's their main interest in wanting to help kids that you hear, Jay? How about that one for you? What is the big thing about the kids? What do they want to do?
It depends on the area that you go to, but if you kind of mentally do like a self-assessment of the area that they live in, doing something that is meaningful and relevant to the needs in that area and addressing those needs as a group. That's what I find over and over and over that really kind of captures people's interests.
And that's common, right?
Right.
How many, there's
Be it homelessness, be it food insecurities, there's 1,000 possibilities, but whatever is relevant in that area.
Gotcha. So I presume the two of you do some demographic work, logistics, doing some research to see kind of what you're getting into, so to speak?
Right. But
Yeah,
primarily, we get that information from the people that we're meeting in the area that we're traveling to open the club.
Gotcha.
We have those one-on-one conversations. Tell me about what you feel the needs in the area, that we're at, XYZ area, and what we can do to help.
Sounds logical. Go ahead. You were saying?
just as Jay said, we really count on the team that's on the ground where we're going. And there's a lot of planning prior to that.
Sure.
And discussions such as what are the needs and how can we uncover those needs?
So you guys rely primarily on the area. Do you guys do additional research beyond that as well?
Yes, we do.
Like what? Give me an
Yeah.
example of something you would do.
Well, I would, first pull up the demographics
Okay.
so that I can speak. It isn't fun for the person like Marissa. If I don't know anything about that community, I
sure.
need to know as much as possible.
Okay.
Population, number of schools.
Just some of the
and-
basic to
just
see
the
what.
basic demographics.
Okay. Jay, what kind of work do you kind of do the same background work that Gene just described as you get ready to go into an area?
Exactly. Yeah. And again, it's just like Gene said, we really rely on folks that live there locally, that live there and work there, raise families there, or raised a family there, whatever the case may be. But, we rely on people who are there so that they see, they are our eyes and ears and give us insight into what we can best do to have the biggest impact possible.
Okay. What I'd like to do is we're going to step aside for our first break a little bit early. I want to shout out to John Crawford. He's in the chat room. Greetings from Lakeside, California, 20 minutes inland from San Diego. So close, yet so far to the beach, but that's okay. 20 minutes, it's worth the drive to get to the sand and the ocean. All right, we're going to step aside for our first break. As you see, Governor Val has dropped off the screen. We're going to have her reconnect, hoping that the internet in Rancho Cucamonga, Kiwanis International will pay for and actually get it working. Okay, with that, I'm Aaron Phillips. I have Gene, I have Jay on the screen. My studio audience is here, and you, we appreciate it. Don't go anywhere. Kiwanis Connects will be right back.
International is a global community of clubs, members, and partners dedicated to improving the lives of children, one community at a time. Today, we stand with more than 550,000 members, from K-Kids to Key Club to Kiwanis, for all ages in over 80 countries around the world. Each community has different needs, and Kiwanis empowers members to pursue creative ways to serve the needs of children, such as fighting hunger, improving literacy, and offering guidance. Kiwanis clubs host nearly 150,000 service projects each year. For more information, visit www.kiwanis.org.
Are you looking for someone to provide training to your staff? Do you need a motivational speaker about how to handle change? Do you have an upcoming event that needs an MC to handle those responsibilities? Well, look no further than longtime Las Vegas radio personality Aaron Phillips. I am local to Las Vegas and I can blend my talents with any audience. For more information, please visit www.aaronphillipsvoice.com and book me for your next event or training needs.
Hey, welcome back to Kiwanis Connects. And look who we found during commercial break. Maritza traveled all the way to Rancho Cucamonga and back. She was the Flash to help Val get back on with us. Let's try. Oh, it sounds like we heard Governor Val.
Yay!
All right.
We hear you.
All right. Very good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to take over the starting process. I asked them about all their travels, what they do demographically to get ready to come in. So from there, Governor Val, I turn it over to you.
Okay. Well, the very first thing is, what's your favorite part about club opening and getting? So, what was your favorite part of this process? What's the steps that really made it work?
Who wants to go first?
Oh my goodness, there are so many. I say the preparation I really love. Talking to people before we get on site and visiting people in the community and learning what the needs of that community. So my favorite part is 100% of everything that we do.
Okay. Jay, how about you?
Collaborating. I love the prep work. To me, it's fun when you, especially, and it's kind of really, it's where you, a few months from now, for example, you start seeing posts from club members in the club that you just previously built, seeing their posts about the exciting projects that they're doing or planning to do or have done, and knowing that you were just a little tiny part of that. That to me that's the reward. I mean, when you see a child or children benefit by what we're doing, and I had a little tiny section of that I helped with and was responsible for, that's fulfillment.
So there are a lot of tools out there. What tools would you recommend?
Ralph, repeat the question again.
There are a lot of tools out there for club opening and club boost. What would you recommend that they start with?
Tools.
Tools. What tools would you recommend for potential clubs to start with? Jay, why don't you take that one first?
Awesome. Tools you have obviously are the club opening team members in your district division. You also have an area in Kiwanis International. You have an area director. You have a club opening specialist, which is Gene, specifically assigned to California, Nevada, Hawaii. There's a multitude of opening resources in Kiwanis.org website. There's an entire guidebook that breaks it down into minutia. There's all kinds of resources. So it's kind of ask not, want not,
Okay. Now, a little birdie about Val. I'm not sure what that message means. So, John, I hope you can figure out what the chat means there from Val. All right. So, a lot of tools. So, does KI update those tools on a regular basis? And if so, how often do they update it?
Well, I would say that we do frequently update. Our education team is amazing. There's a module of training for every aspect of club opening and boosting clubs. So we make certain that those tools are known by those who are going to either boost a club or open a new club.
Okay.
And we can also do the training with those individuals.
John, last week we downloaded PDF, that black and white chart. That's what she's referring to.
Yeah.
Okay. It hit me what it was.
Yeah.
We have a boost.
I just got it.
Okay. We have a boost page that we downloaded last week. Hopefully we don't have room for it this week because of all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll bring it up. So can you talk about, Val, a little bit of what's actually on that sheet to share with the clubs as a tool?
Well, because my audio is so awful, I'm going to have Jay and Gene talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. So, Jay, talk about what's on that boost spreadsheet. Just give a couple of things that are on there for us.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with a lot of folks don't really or may not have even thought about it or understand it. But when you're planning to do a club boost, really, there's so many transferable skills from a club opening perspective that in terms of skill sets that are identically the same. In other words, the preparation that you do for a club boost is almost identical to the process of doing a club opening.
Okay.
What I mean by that is, it's this creating the spreadsheet of the prospects in the community that you're planning on attempting to schedule appointments with. It's collecting and gathering a team. It's doing the logistics and preparation, gathering your team in the area that you're going to be doing the boost at the same time on specific days and times. But it's a lot of the same type of thing. The key difference is I liken it really to selling a used car, if you would. And it's a little bit out here, but follow me and then you go, aha, I get you. Think about it. If you have a used car at home and you think, I'm going to sell this car. What will we do to a used car before we sell it? We're going to clean it, vacuum it, wax it, wash it, all those kinds of things. The same type of thing for our club when we do a boost. We want to make sure that our club boost really is in top-notch shape in terms of communication. We want to know what our mission is for that club, what we want to do, what our service projects are. We want to all be on the same page and really be in harmony in terms of where we see our club in the next 6 months and where we want to see our club in the next year, especially based on adding these new people. But it's the same type of thing. club open, so you would also have a 1-sheet or a 2-sheet document as you're doing a club boost that really kind of explains in essence what your club is all about, because some Kiwanis clubs, most Kiwanis clubs are extremely different, in terms of what their goals are and what the needs are in their community that might be unique to that area. So it really just kind of addresses, the skill sets that you need and some things to keep in mind if you're planning on doing a club boost. Hope that helps.
So one thing he said in there, Gene, is the fact that follow-up is very critical. So what are the best practices in your mind that you could share with folks about once you get that initial list and names in terms of follow-up? Give us some keys to making that part of it successful.
Well, first of all, you want to populate that list, as we refer to it, as it's actually a spreadsheet of a variety of businesses and business leaders and community people. And then once you've populated this document, then you want to reach out and schedule appointments and speak to community leaders and members of the community to find out what the needs are in that community.
Okay. So I'm going to, Maritza is here in our studio audience, of course. Now, last night you guys were helping to build the downtown Kiwanis Club. And you mentioned, how many names do you have on a sheet right now that you have to do follow-up with?
So I'm a sort of an overachiever for this.
That's okay.
And I probably have around 150 names on that spreadsheet.
To still follow up with.
No, we didn't make appointments with all the people. We just didn't have enough time.
Gotcha.
And if I had 10 people or 12 people, maybe we would have gotten around if
Gotcha.
we'd gotten all the appointments scheduled.
But still 150 names is still a great lead, yes?
Yeah, I have a top list, top prospect list of the ones that are we talked to or they referred someone else that we're going to go back. It's probably more like 20 people in the next 2 weeks to go back and talk to. And
so the important thing, if I'm hearing this, Gene and Jay, and you guys can obviously answer this. She sounds like she's prioritizing that list.
Sure.
Once you get that list, you got to know who your hot prospects are.
Certainly.
Versus the ones you have to do a cold sell for. Yes.
Yes, and one part of our appointments when we're visiting with the community leader, it's amazing what, we typically spend 20 or 30 minutes. And I would say half of that appointment is, you need to talk to this person.
Gotcha.
So really,
they start coming up with names.
We want to ask for referrals, but rarely do we have to, because once that person sees what we're doing and they want to be part of it, then obviously they want us to share that thing with people they know. So,
and it sounds like, again, it's prioritizing, knowing your demographics and things along that line. Jay, I'm going to ask you this question. So here you are, you're looking to build a club, and what are some of your best practices in walking up to somebody and starting a conversation with somebody about KI who thinks Kiwanis International is a airline company?
Sorry, funny analogy. Really, it's learning how to say a lot in a very little bit of time. Practice your 30-second speech, your 1-minute speech, and make it high impact and very interesting. Because you only get a few seconds before people have already formed somewhat of an opinion about you, and also kind of get a mental idea whether or not they want to listen to this person or not. But it's really being engaging and letting them talk. Really, it's prompting them, if you're able to, get them to talk, because, people know more about themselves than anybody else.
Right.
So get them to, tell me a little bit about you, are you from here or moved here from somewhere else? Big family, small family, hobbies, interests, try to, just throw out some nuggets there to see what you catch them with, and get them talking. First thing you do is you kind of diffuse the nerves of meeting a new person just by, them showing a little interest in you,
Okay. Makes sense. John, I'm going to ask you, can you light up one of the wireless mics and hand it to the ladies over here?
I was thinking.
Okay, we can do that. So, all right, so you're talking to prospects. Let's talk about when you have the hardest prospect that you're talking to. Like, they're like, no, don't bother me, blah, 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 blah. How do you handle somebody like that? What do you think? Basically you're talking about somebody who has objections to wanting to do this. So how do you overcome the sales objections that people may have that stick to their conventions? All I'm not joining Kiwanis no matter what. How do you handle those people?
Well, typically the
Val liked that analogy, by the way.
Mhm.
We still see she liked that. She liked that idea.
Yeah. Probably the
Well,
most
that's
common resistance is, oh, I don't have time.
Mhm.
And, the best response to that is, that's why we're talking to you, because busy people get things done.
Right. And of course, the other thing with that is you can devote as much time to this as you have available, right?
Yes.
Because there's no hourly requirement.
No.
There's no monthly requirements for participation. Christine von Lindenberg has a microphone in her hand and would like to add a comment. Go for it.
Yeah, it was what we were talking before about the name, our name, and
Yes.
people knowing about us. And I was surprised that many people knew what Kiwanis was.
Mhm.
And many people were in Kid Club and had experience with that. And the ones that did not, people said, "Oh, I've researched about Kiwanis, and I just know that you are a great and you work with kids." So it was a really good experience.
Well, that's good. Name recognition is
Exactly.
important, and that's good. One thing, Christina, I'm going to share this with our guests here, and Val's heard this before. One of the things that I have from a branding perspective, and you guys, I know you're talking about building clubs, and this is probably not in your wheelhouse to really answer me unless you have a personal answer you want to give. To me, there's one thing that does not allow us to separate from the other known service clubs like Rotary and Lions. Our colors are all the same. That blue and gold for all of these service groups, okay, have the same colors. Now, I get it, stands out blue and gold, and I know there's reasons that the blue is using the yellow. But to me, when I see the same colors, what is separating us when people see three signs that say, oh, I want to join, wait, they have the same, no, I like that. To me, I'm just, that's why you notice in our background, other than the KI logo, we're using just different colors to make the name stand out differently.
Mhm.
What's your thoughts on branding just in our colors in terms of recruiting? Jay?
I don't know, anything that's flashy and kind of catches people's attention, I think is important. So it really just looking different, looking, something that's not easily forgettable, or, you look at things like you go in a grocery store and look at the products that kind of stand out, by the way of their design, come up with something interesting, come up with something colorful or whatever.
And I think our K really stands out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to, I have no problem. I'm just, the colors is what to me is the same as the others. That's why when Christina and I started the show, our background was red, just because we wanted a different color to help brand the name. Maritza, you have the mic.
Yeah, so it's not really about the colors. I agree with Jean. It's about the K.
Mhm.
So if you look across our family of organizations, the Builders Club, the K Kids, the Action Club, Key Club. I was in high school and I was in Kiwanis. I went to college. I really didn't have a good connection with Kiwanis at that time. And when I got on a college campus and I was walking down, the walkway on the campus, I noticed the K.
Mhm.
And I said, oh, that looks sort of familiar.
Right.
And so as a former SLP member, sponsored leadership member, that's what I noticed. I noticed that big K.
Mhm.
And so at least as far as keeping our youth involved and getting them to go from high school to college, or college to Kiwanis, that's a good marketing tool.
Sure. No, there's consistency in the branding, and I totally understand that. Again, I have the wording and the K totally identifiable. I just wish we had different colors around it because it's the same as Rotary and Lime. But that's me. I'm standing on the mountain probably all by myself because there were a lot of people that didn't like the red background when we did the show with Christina. So what do I know about hockey? We're going to step aside for an early break because what I'd like to do, John, so you might need to extend the break, is I'd like to have these ladies go over to Studio 1A, if you don't mind. So this way, if they have something they can add, I'd rather not make it sound like God is talking with voices coming out of nowhere. You're watching Kiwanis Connects. We have Jay. I have Jean here. We have Val, at least in spirit, physically. We can see that beautiful smile and energy. I have Maritza and Christina here in studio. And everybody out there who's watching, please put your questions into the comment section there, and we'll be sure to add them to our conversation. With that, Kiwanis Connects. We'll be right back.
International is a global community of clubs, members and partners dedicated to improving the lives of children, one community at a time. Today, we stand with more than 550,000 members, from K-Kids to Key Club to Kiwanis, for all ages in over 80 countries around the world. Each community has different needs, and Kiwanis empowers members to pursue creative ways to serve the needs of children, such as fighting hunger, improving literacy, and offering guidance. Kiwanis clubs host nearly 150,000 service projects each year. For more information, visit www.kiwanis.com.
This is the story of one man's incredible journey from 350 to 200-pound weight loss and his mission to help and inspire others. Aaron Phillips. People are praising Aaron's new book with 5-star reviews. Aaron's various humorous and wildly entertaining stories portray his rise as a sports announcer, his encounters with exotic and irregular entertainers on the Las Vegas Strip through his long-running Vegas Unwrapped radio show, and his contagious and positive style of pursuing success. Call now or visit our website or Amazon now to get your copy of Let My Voice Speak to You, stories from a Hall of Fame radio personality. Order now.
Hi there. Oh, Val has disappeared into the wall there. Look at that picture. That's a beautiful outlet or thermostat she has there. But anyway, welcome back to Kiwanis Connects. Aaron Phillips. Oh, she's trying a different angle of the room, perhaps. I'm Aaron Phillips. We have guests here, Jeannie and Jay, both from Kiwanis International, talking about club building, club growth, and how to deal with very harsh potential customers, members, when they just don't want to be involved with anything. Now, we also put Christina and Maritza here at the Studio 1A. We have them on camera. There you go. You see them there. So we'll have them be able to throw in their comments, and you can see them speak instead of just their voice, like in that movie, Field of Dreams. Build it and they will come. Well, that's what it was like. Anyway, so let's get back to it. So we were talking about boosting and the tools and everything else. Now, actually, we were talking about colors. We were talking about, well, I was anyway, about the Kiwanis colors. So I'm going to ask both of, what is the most valuable tool for both of you when you're out recruiting members and building clubs that you find that you individually love to use? And yours is probably different than Jay's and vice versa. What's your number one go-to tool? What do you think?
It's really getting to know the person who I'm speaking to.
Okay.
That's so important.
So relationship building with the person. Well, that makes sense. Jay, how about you?
I think my favorite tool to use, obviously, it begins with just rapport building, but especially, and it kind of goes back to the question you were asking a few minutes ago about what do you do with the person that's just really standoffish, really is, I'm too busy, I'm this, I'm that, the other. I like to use objection handling, getting to understand. A lot of times objections really, if you think about it at their core, is a question. Meaning, example, why, I don't have the time, because maybe they have the misconception mentally that, being involved in Kiwanis is a 30-hour-a-week volunteer position.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're thinking, without knowing the facts, they're thinking, I'm married, I have a family, or I work a lot, or this, that, or the other. It's, tell me a little bit about your concerns. Get them to open up about those concerns. And really, sometimes you can take that absolutely no answer and turn it into, well, maybe, and take that, well, maybe, into a yes. So I really love to dig in my heels, figure out what I can do to convert that thought process with facts and truth, and see if I can overcome those objections.
I like what you said, because when we were on break, actually, I used that term as we continue the conversation. It's handling sales objections. And, in the case of Kiwanis, more than anything else, it is about concern of time. Like when I used to sell timeshare, it was always money. So there's always that bottom reason people won't do it. It's a matter of peeling back the onion like you would get at Outback, peel all those layers down, and get to the real objection as to why people won't do it, or they say they can't do it, and then be prepared with the positive spin to share them and get rid of that objection.
Yes.
Right? Yes. 1A.
One thing that we found when people say, we like the idea, or I want to be involved, but I don't have the time, but keep me in touch, then we will offer the corporate membership. And they change a little bit. We said they want to be represented, but they're not going to be able to go every time. So when we give that alternative, they said, okay, this might be possible.
Okay.
So to elaborate a little bit on the corporate membership, is what Christina is saying is that if you have a corporate membership, you can send a representative from your company.
Okay. John and John and I, as we sit here, we are proud corporate members of the new downtown Las Vegas Kiwanis Club.
Yeah.
Yeah. Woo! And Patrick Frazee, get in touch with Val or Maritza so we can get that application in. The thing is about sending a representative. There's 3 people that work in my company, me, myself, and I.
Yes.
So when you're a solopreneur, so to speak, time not becomes, I don't want to say it becomes an obstacle, but we have to make sure that if we're going to devote our time, that we do make room for it. If it's an hour a week, if it's whatever we can do once a month, whatever it is. But I love that corporate flexibility because now, like you said, in a bigger company, a 5-person office, 10-person, a small company, they can pick somebody to go on behalf of the company. Now, I think that's great because then that company, people can see the different people in that company, which gives the company to actually indirectly sell themselves because here you are meeting my staff, right?
Right.
Not just the owner. Are you finding, Jay, that corporate ownership or corporate membership is working well on your end as well?
Yeah, I love the corporate memberships, and I'm glad that we have, that as a tool. I also, at the same time, I use that very, very carefully and with a lot of discretion. And what I mean by that is I don't want to lead in, in the initial part of our conversation using that tool, because I've gone into companies before and they say, oh, you know what? I have so-and-so in this department, so-and-so in that department that is also interested. So now I might walk out with possibly 2 or more applications that are paid and new members. So if I lead in with the corporate membership as a tool, I might be cutting off my nose to spite my face. So, if during the conversation I start to see a little bit of the prospect putting on the brakes a little bit, expressing difficulties with understanding how they would get it to work, as with them being the member, then I introduce that as a kind of like a backup plan or plan
Gotcha.
B, and then it's received much better because now it's kind of, I've presented a solution to a potential problem.
Right. And that usually is what completes a sale, is when you present a solution to a problem that they know they have or they didn't have, and you fix it. By the way, folks, you see that Val has dropped off, but the internet connection and the location where she's at is obviously not cooperating. Hopefully she's still watching us or at least listening. So fear not, my friends. Due to the power of Facebook Messenger, Val is still with us in spirit as she's bringing some great points up. Now, I've been in sales a long time. I was 14 years old when I got my first job working for Tom McCann Shoes, if anybody remembers those guys in the stockroom. I was 14. So I've been in sales a long time. And there was one aspect of selling that is difficult for a lot of people, and that's cold calling. And I don't mean just walking into a store. I mean dialing that phone and talking to somebody that you hope is the person you need. So talk about some advantages or some tricks about cold calling.
Oh, well, actually, I love cold calling because it's kind of adventurous.
Okay.
First, getting through to the gatekeeper can be a challenge, and establishing a rapport with that gatekeeper. Even if, most of the time that gatekeeper may think you already know the person of which you're calling, and just continue to attempt to reach that person.
I have a philosophy when I talk to people, Jay, and because obviously I'm out and about talking with people about sponsorship and advertising on the shows and all that stuff. I don't stop unless I hear a no. And I tell people I can take a gracious no as well as a gracious yes. Don't ghost me. And in this world now, there's a lot more people that do that because they can hide behind the phone. So I will pursue an individual or company until I get that no. Okay, so you guys, like you kind of alluded to, Jay, you guys kind of have to take that position in a way that unless they say no, they're still a potential member. Yes.
True.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. It really, as I'm making cold calls, either on the phone or swinging by a business in person, if it's the actual week of a club opening, I look at it the way it really is and I use a couple of tools when I am doing phone calls ahead of the actual club opening. I mentally picture, and I used to literally do this. I would have one of those little tiny round mirrors.
Yep.
That's on a little stand that you put on your desk.
Yep.
Because you've heard this smiling and dialing.
Yep.
I literally did that when I first started in this, as a corporate recruiter 25 years ago, 1997. Right. Because people, when they're on the phone, obviously they hear your voice, but I also look at it that they're seeing you with their mind. They're seeing you with their ears. They're picturing, are you in some kind of a, old dilapidated trailer, like a mobile home office, or if you're a college graduate and a nice office space and a respectable person or whatever.
Sure.
But I don't take what they say personally at the same time. If they're rude and if they're obnoxious, I'm nice to them because it's nothing against Jay Hubbard.
Right.
It's just the way they are. So be nice, always be kind.
And we really don't know what's going on behind the scenes. That person could be having a horrible day.
Right.
And maybe that's just not the right time for us to talk to them.
Right. In response to that might be something like, Mr. or Mrs. Smith, is there a better time for us to have the conversation, right? Or to be able to just chat? Or maybe, hey, come, let's meet for coffee when things work. I like Jay's analogy when you do the smile and dialing, because this goes back to old time radio. Listen to me like I'm 100 years old. When we didn't have this video stuff, when radio was radio and you didn't see what the person looked like behind the microphone. And so people, I did it, I'm sure we all did it. You create this vision in your head about what that person looks like because of their voice and how they present. And then in my case, when people got to see the face with the voice, it was very disappointing, but that's a whole nother story. So what he's talking about there is when you have that smile, you're hoping that the person is envisioning a happy person, a light person, that we're not talking about, how to build rocket ships here. So that's kind of a great analogy when he said that. And that's what kind of hooked me into that. You've got to project in a way that is acceptable because you can't see the person. You can react a lot better when you're face to face with somebody, but on that phone, they could be doing something that you don't want to know about while they're trying to talk to you. Now,
that's right.
When you guys started this and any cold calling, this is a great, I want Maritza to actually be part of the answer on this. When I first started cold calling on the phone, we had scripts that we had to, that helped us, even though they say we want you to use it word for word. Okay. So when you guys dialed, Maritza, I'm going to go to you first for this answer. Do you have a script, and I'll put that word in quotes, either mentally or in your mind, how you want to address and handle your calls for the first time?
Is it on me? Okay.
Yes.
So to be honest, no. What I do is if I'm going to make a call to an organization, I'm going to go to their website. I'm going to look up what they're about and learn a little bit more about who I'm talking to. I don't just pick up the phone and dial a number. I actually Google the person and I see what their interests are. I see what they do for the group and I find out a little bit more about the programs they're involved with. So when I call them to talk to them, I try to explain Kiwanis in terms that they're going to relate to, like projects we have done together or stuff like that. I mean, I know cold calling, it's going to be a short call. We're trying to call and get in to see them. And that's really the hardest part, to actually call and get an appointment booked so we go and see them in person.
Okay.
That's actually really a difficult process. I mean, it's not, it sounds easy, but it's not. Getting them to agree to meet with you for a half hour, an hour.
Yeah.
I usually get asked that question about an appointment, about sponsorship. Well, how much time do you think we'll need? Well, 30 minutes minimum. If you ask questions and there's more stuff you want to know, at whatever time you need. So you're right. We want to make it convenient for them. By the way, I want to officially say that Val will not be rejoining us visually or a bad attempt audio. Apparently, there's a power outage at Rancho Cucamonga. And she has one bar left on her phone. And so that's why there's a bad connection there. So she's filling up my chat room here with questions and thoughts and where she's traveling to as well. So again, she's here in spirit with us, And so we won't see Val make another attempt because for all we know, Rancho Cucamonga could be sold out and done for, no power. So way to go, KI. Yes, district office. I guess you're going to get the rest of the day off. Okay. So let me go back to your, everything. Okay. So you guys talked about, she asked me to share the story of Justin. Who would like to take that story from the meeting last night?
I can do that.
Okay.
So basically, Justin is a 7-year-old boy. His mom, Justin has all these ideas on how to improve his community. So he said, those Ukrainian refugees, they just left their homes. They don't have anything. I want to go to Ukraine and build a library. And his mom was like, oh, this is a great idea, but there's no way we can go to Ukraine. So Justin goes and he's playing with his crayons and all that. And he actually draws a picture of them flying over to Poland because she said we can go to Poland. Poland is safe, but Ukraine is not. And he shows them walking across the border into Ukraine. It was actually a really good drawing. But the thing is, they did go, this is with the Heroes and Hearts Foundation. They did go to Poland in November of this year. And they converted a room in a refugee center into a library for the kids that had escaped the Ukraine with nothing.
Wow.
So he was in the MLK Day parade here just last Monday in downtown Las Vegas. And then they have a bunch of different programs. So we found them because they applied for a city grant. The city has neighborhood grants for youth programs. Mm-hmm. And that's how I actually found out about them. They don't have employees per se. The mom runs the foundation, the father's involved, the kid obviously is the CEO. And they have amazing programs. They don't have a staff. They don't have a lot, they really fundraise all on their own. They're flying to Poland mm-hmm. to build a library. And, they're doing amazing things, but I would have never heard about them unless I was, building this downtown Las Vegas club and researching what people are doing in the community.
Wow. 7-year-old. And that's got to shed light when you guys now go out and talk to members here in the area, just sharing that story of a 7-year-old going back to the children and the kids doing stuff with them and for them. A 7-year-old, usually when I was 7, I was worried about catching Bugs Bunny on a Saturday morning. You know what I'm saying? So to have somebody like that, have that kind of vision is wonderful. I'm glad that they're doing that. I think I'm glad that's going to be a great example for future. And Val also says to me that apparently Justin is going to be one of the keynotes up in Reno for the division or for the district convention. So everybody will have an opportunity to hear from him at DCON. So that's great to know that he'll be up there and you have a chance to meet him. All right. You know what, John, can we just take a quickie break? Then we'll transition into where's Val going? I have that information and then we can wrap up with our guests. Is that okay?
Okay with me.
All right, then let's do it. You're watching Kiwanis Connects. I hope. We'll be right back.
Hi, everybody. Aaron Phillips here, inviting you to join me every Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. right here on Worldwide Digital Broadcasting TV on my show, Aaron's Hour with Aaron Phillips. I bring to you the movers and shakers of Las Vegas and really all around the world. It's also fun, entertaining, silly, goofy, informative, everything you'd want to be entertained by on a Saturday, except no politics, no religion. As I said, it's designed to be a fun show. Remember, that's every Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. Pacific, right here, Aaron's Hour, Worldwide Digital Broadcasting TV. International is a global community of clubs, members and partners dedicated to improving the lives of children, one community at a time. Today, we stand with more than 550,000 members, from K-Kids to Key Club to Kiwanis, for all ages in over 80 countries around the world. Each community has different needs, and Kiwanis empowers members to pursue creative ways to serve the needs of children, such as fighting hunger, improving literacy, and offering guidance. Kiwanis clubs host nearly 150,000 service projects each year. For more information, visit www.kiwanis.org.
Boy, we're back just in time. Welcome back to Kiwanis Connects, which John was just about to share something snide with me. Unfortunately, we came back just in time. He's saved by the bell. Jay is here in Las Vegas. Where are you staying again? The Gold Coast? No. The Gold Nugget?
Gold Nugget.
Did you gamble a little bit at all?
Oh, I can neither confirm nor deny that.
So let me just say this ahead of time.
Stay in Las Vegas.
Yeah, right, exactly. First of all, what stays in Vegas will stay here, except for this thought. Thank you very much for helping to keep our taxes low. Gene, how about you?
Absolutely not.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
By the way, the airport, I got to tell this real quick story, and then we're going to get to travels with Val. The airport traditionally has always been not the best place to play because they have a captured audience, right? You can't go anywhere. You're stuck there. So about 3 weeks ago, I went to pick up a buddy of mine who was coming in, and I got there early. And I said, let me just walk in away from inside. And I'm walking around. This one slot machine. I'd like to play the 5-line slot machine, 25 cents, big gambler here. Put a $10 bill in, figure it would kill 5 minutes till my buddy comes through. All of a sudden, I did something. And I'm getting clink, 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 clink. And I'm thinking, all right, it's going to stop at 10 or 20. I made 1,600 quarters would have come out of that machine. I walked out of there with $300. And this is the airport. So, folks, airport slots are changing from what they used to be. You might get some money back. If not, though, let me remind you, Vegas was not built on winners. So we appreciate your contribution. So, but we cannot deny or say that we can thank you for your donation, Jay, and we'll just leave it at that as well. So, all right. So, again, Val is sending me comments and thoughts and questions and ideas as well. I want to thank our in-studio guests, Maritza and Christina, who had no idea that they were going to be put on camera, but they have learned over the years that when I host a show, anything can happen. And so I appreciate them being here as well. And you guys, I know you have a travel schedule today. What time do you fly out? Do you go out at the same time?
6:30 p.m.
Oh, p.m. So you got a little time to drop some money as well. Jay, you're going out tonight, so enjoy. Hopefully today is kind of a little bit of a relaxed day before you head out, but knowing these two behind me, that ain't going to happen. All right, with that, let's get to it. Let's kind of tell everybody Val's on the road again. So she is traveling. Let me tell you what's going on with her as we get that. There you go. Val, this is a road trip time. And of course, first gent? Is that, I forget, that's the proper title if I'm not mistaken. Her first gent, Andy, by the way, he loves traveling and driving. And so he's going to be driving Miss Governor. They're going to do some training with Circle K this weekend. Then going back up north, she's going to be up on back up north on Monday. And then next week at this time, Midwinter North will be taking place up in Monterey, San Jose area. 27th, 28th, 29th, which means unless Val and I can record a show before next Friday, we will probably rerun a past episode because I will be on a plane at 8 a.m. heading up there with my wife because I will be hosting the Saturday night gala dinner, as well as I'm going to be co-hosting a seminar with Anissa Azevedo. I'm blanking out, I think that's her last name, about social media and branding. And the first rule of branding is know somebody's name before you try to say it. But anyway, so that's what's going on in Val's world. So she'll be up north, and we're all going to be hopefully getting together up in, not hopefully, we will be getting together up in Midwinter next week, which is great. There is one question that I'm going to go back to here, guys. And she asked, new members, of course, they help to revitalize clubs. Mm-hmm. Do you guys participate in revitalizing clubs as well?
Actually not.
Okay. Strictly new club building.
Yes.
Okay.
We do have an area director.
Okay.
That will assist in that effort.
Okay. Jay, how about you? Also new clubs?
New clubs, yeah. We both actually have the exact same job description, but okay. I used to. But like I said, we're so focusing on opening new clubs so we can increase membership that we really have a very laser focused objective now, and that's to open new clubs. Our jobs and sure. And then we have, like she was saying, we have other folks that are basically available to help with the club boosting matters.
I'm glad you mentioned the club boost because during one of the segments, I like to do this just in. I was handed a note. When we post the show up on Roku, John does a little cleanup of stuff in the show. He will be putting into the show the boost list that we were referring to earlier. So look for that on the Roku version so that this way people will see what we were talking about and everything that's on there. So that will appear on that.
I do have one comment. If there are clubs that want to boost their membership, I strongly encourage you to join a team opening a new club. You'll get the experience of what that's like visiting prospective members, and there's just such a happy energy taking place in opening a new club. And you can take everything that you've learned with you back to your club for boosting.
And that's important, right? Because it's all about getting now. What do you think? This is going to be a loaded question, so you guys can unload the answer if you'd like. What is more important to Kiwanis? It's a canned question. Revitalizing existing clubs with new members, or building a new club? I know the great answer is both. That's the ideal and euphoric world. But which do you think is more important, revitalization with a member to a club or a brand new club from the get-go? What do you think?
I'd be glad to address that. I think you're right. It is a loaded question. And I hope I don't go against the grain in my response. I don't think there is. I could not name one over the other because I think boosting a club has its place, and it's very extreme. I mean, that should be something that a club is doing all the time, little by little, consistently every month, every quarter, adding 1, 2, 3 people, so forth to their club. Opening clubs gives you brand new members. So now you have new people, new ideas, a new energy. So if I had to pick one over the other, I don't know that I could, because I think it's like, which of your extremities on your body are more important? Would you like
or which one's your favorite child?
Have to live without. I mean, they're all part of it.
Sure. That makes sense.
I want legs, I want feet and hands and ears.
And that's why I asked it as a loaded question, because I know all lieutenant governors from their governor, and I say this with all love to Val, because I know she's still listening or watching somewhere. Every governor sends its lieutenant governors the following mission. And ladies behind me, correct me if I'm wrong, having been there, number 1, got to build a new club this year, right?
Yes.
2, you got to help the clubs that are already there rebuild and boost them and get them stronger. Am I correct?
Yes.
So again, in terms of time, sitting officers have 12 months. 12 months. You guys have a job that at least you're at every year. And for officers to do that kind of work in 1 year, that's a lot to do in 1 year.
It is.
Building new, because they're required to, if they want to get awards and stuff like that at the end of the year. Not that anybody's doing this to get awards, but some of the recognition that officers get is based on new club building and obviously membership. And it's a tough challenge, So that's why I pose that. We all know that's what comes down. Without members, we can't do anything, whether it's revitalizing clubs or not. Interesting thing, and Maritza, you may want to comment on this real quickly because you only have a minute or two left. Last week with Val in studio, we talked about former K family members, Key Club, Circle K, even Kiwanians from anywhere else in the country or world that has moved here now. You came up with a stat last week, Maritza, of how many of those individuals actually here in Las Vegas. How many was it? Do you remember?
Actually, no, I didn't come up with the stat.
Well, somebody did.
We have a list of former members who are members of clubs within Las Vegas who are no longer members. So we, contacted those people.
Do you know how many members? How many people are on that list roughly?
Actually, no, there was like a lot, but there's 100. Like I don't want to say hundreds, but things change. People move out of town.
Sure.
Stuff like that. Just for the downtown area, I think we probably had a list of like 35 or something.
Okay.
But not all of those names were necessarily active. Like it might have been someone who was a member 10 years ago.
Okay.
And we really don't know if they're here or not anymore.
Bottom line is this: all across the country and the world, I guarantee that there's former K family members who are no longer involved for one reason or another. And I think those are the obvious people we approach at some point. So again, that's understandable. All right, believe it or not, we're at the end of this rocky road today with technology with Val out in Rancho Cucamonga. We appreciate that she attempted, but I think we did okay getting the message across about new club building tips and tricks from the experts who do it every day, day in and day out on behalf of Kiwanis International. Jay, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it, and safe travels back to Indy. We appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
Don't go anywhere. Do not disconnect, okay? Jean, thank you so much
and thank you for your membership to the Kiwanis Downtown Club.
I'm here to serve.
Absolutely.
So it was a great opportunity. I've been a charter member now of 3 level clubs. I was a charter member of my Key Club. Oh no, not 3 levels. I'm a hat trick charter member of my Key Club, the Kiwanis Club of the Lakes, and now this one. So I'm a hat trick of charter members. So Suck on that, hockey people. Anyway, thank you. I had no way to end that. I don't know where I was going. For Christina, Maritza, thank you very much for pitching in today and helping as well. We appreciate it. To everybody out there, thank you so much. I'm just going to have one thing to say to you before we say goodbye. Be kind to everybody. Why is that? We're all we have. Be sure tomorrow, 9 to 11 a.m., right here, Thoughts Count Anywhere, noontime, 12 to 1. Aaron's out with Aaron Phillips, which is convenient because that's my name. Otherwise, the title wouldn't make sense. Be sure to tune us. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Have a great week. We'll see you next time right here on Kiwanis Connects.
Bye, everyone.